Backstabbing, match-fixing and public slanging are sullying the genteel reputation of lawn bowls. The country's top player, wonder kid Gary Lawson, spitting tacks at the national body, a body that's effectively made him the bad boy of bowls, banning him from the game for 6 months and slapping him with a $5,000 fine. Bowls New Zealand alleges Gary and his teammates deliberately lost one end of a game at the World Champs last year so they could get a better draw. Gary says, in his own vernacular, that's a load of crap, and that Bowls New Zealand CEO Kerry Clark has it in for him and wants to kick him out of the sport he loves. Kerry Clark wouldn't come on tonight, but representing Bowls New Zealand, it's Chairman John Carter, and in Christchurch, Gary Lawson. Gary, did you throw that end? So it is a common tactic, isn't it?
Yes, it is, but well, not really. We actually just played a poor end, and we've said that right from day one. And at the end of the day, we then played a very good 18th end and lost on a fluke. But as we said right from the start, we played a poor end, and we played a lot of poor ends during that tournament. I
just want to clear this up, because there's been suggestions that you had admitted in the past that you had thrown that end. Is that correct or not?
No, I think what you're thinking about is back in the World Champs in 2008, in the last end against Ireland, New Zealand led by 9, so we'd already had enough to win the game. And between Dave Edwards, the coach, and the 4 players, we had to get together. The game was already over. We'd already wanted to shake hands, but we had to play it because of the points differential leading into the overall winner of the tournament. So, in the best interest of New Zealand, we decided to drop a 5. And that's what they keep bringing up now. That was a tactical move back then in 2008, and we went on and won the World Championship.
Gary, look, you're a great player. You're probably the best player in the country. Why would Bowls New Zealand want to get rid of their best player?
Kerry Clark has a history of getting on poorly with his best players. Rowan Brassey and Peter Bellis, they're their 2 greatest players of the last 20, 30 years, if not of all time. And they've left always on bad terms with Kerry Clark. He just does not like his top players.
John Carter, chairman of Bowls New Zealand, look, the first question obviously is why couldn't Kerry Clark come on and defend himself tonight?
Well, it's not a matter of Kerry not wanting to come on, Mark. It's the Board of Bowls New Zealand who have taken this initiative and has been behind what has all happened, and therefore we believe that it's... and Kerry Clark has just acted as instructed by the board, so I think it's only fair that it's the board who fronts up rather than Kerry Clark.
Is there bad blood between Kerry and some of the top players? Do you accept that?
Not that I'm aware of. There is... I'll admit that Gary and Kerry have had their differences of opinion. But as far as the others, Peter Bellis, Rowan Brassey, I'm not aware of that, and I guess I haven't been around long enough to have experienced that.
The judicial hearing that was held over this, we know that Gary and some of the other players, they've called it a kangaroo court. Why wasn't it done when the alleged offence initially happened at those World Champs?
Well, I guess you'd have to ask in the first instance Will Bowles about that, Mark. The complaint came to Bowls New Zealand after the event was finished. It was Canada protesting and objecting to what had happened. They sent that to Will Bowles, and Will Bowles, together with Canada, sent it on to New Zealand and asked us to investigate. We then investigated under the terms of our constitution.
Can New Zealand Bowls afford to lose Gary?
Well, Gary is a great player and is, without argument, our best player at the moment. But we're still firmly of the opinion that we can win 3 medals at Delhi. That's in the Commonwealth Games. That's our target. And with or without Gary, we aim to achieve that.
Gary, you've got a 6-month ban, a $5,000 fine, which is more serious than what the other players got, isn't it?
Yeah, but firstly, what I'd like to say is that John's not telling the truth here. What happened is Kerry Clark turned up in Malaysia 3 days after the game against Thailand, and Canada had put in a verbal complaint, and they were quite happy with that. That was where it was going to be left. Now, for John to say that the complaint didn't come in until after we got back to New Zealand is not right. Everybody knew about it. Clark went into a meeting with the World Bowls officials in Malaysia, and they knew it. Then Clark then got Canada to put a written complaint in. It should have gone to the jury of appeal in Malaysia. They were there, it was set up. The whole thing should have been dealt with in Malaysia. It should never have come back to New Zealand. Now, why Kerry Clark decided to bring it back to New Zealand is beyond me. And for John Carter to say that they didn't get the complaint until they got back is just absolute lies.
John Carter?
It's just lies.
Gary's right in as far as when Kerry arrived, which was 3 days after this all took place, he said to Canada if they had a complaint, they should put it in writing. Now, the facts of the matter are that complaint in writing was not received until the players all got back to New Zealand in September. So I agree. I don't agree. What I'm saying is maybe it should have been dealt with World Bowls, and maybe that's something for the future to be looked at. But the fact of the matter is that the written complaint from Canada was not received by Bowls New Zealand until it was forwarded on by World Bowls after the event.
John, look, this is no good for the sport. I don't think it's good for anyone involved in this. Can it be resolved? I mean, do you want these guys back in the game?
Certainly, these guys and anyone, Bowls New Zealand is open to anyone. All it is that the players have to abide by the conditions and code of ethics set down and play according to the sportsmanship that Bowls New Zealand require them to play under.
Gary, I mean, you've dug your toes in, you're saying you're not going to pay that fine for a start. Can you see any way back out of this?
Oh, you know, needs to be major surgery. There's some heavy wounds and some deep ones, and I really think that there needs to be a total restructure of the way the sport's run. I mean, we've got an administration and an office that's costing well over $1 million. So I've heard up to $1.5 million to run. Back in 2008, you know, the players were getting $25 a day daily allowance. Back in 2008, also in November, Clark and I had a meeting that lasted 2 hours, and it was an open meeting where we were quite frank. I told him he should go, and, you know, we were lucky enough to get the daily allowance up to $75. Now, for me to pay that fine, I have to pay 66 days for New Zealand to pay that fine. You take an average cricketer, maybe the bottom line Test cricket, getting $2,000 a day, that would be a similar fine of $132,000.
So as far as you're concerned, either he goes or you go. That simple.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely not paying the fine. So, I mean, if that fine stays and they don't throw that fine away, I won't be playing for them.
OK, look, Gary Lawson, John Carter from Bowls New Zealand, thank you for your time tonight as well.